Janet Maureen Aoife Ní Devlin is a Northern Irish singer-songwriter who rose to prominence in the 8th series of The X Factor in 2011 where she finished in 5th place. Her debut album was launched in October 2012 via PledgeMusic with a limited pledges-only release on July 1, 2013. It received general release with new songs and reworked tracks on June 9, 2014. Biography: Janet is the youngest of 4 children to Aquinas and Pat Devlin and has 3 elder brothers, Jason, Gavin and Aaron. Prior to entering the X Factor, she lived with her parents and brothers in Gortin, County Tyrone, Northern Ireland. She attended an Irish-language preschool, and later attended Drumra Integrated College where she completed her GCSEs. A talented student, Janet did well in school. Courtney Love has stated in interviews that she believes Janet and her family to be distant relatives of Kurt Cobain, though Devlin has stated that she is unaware of any connection. Devlin had very little performing experience before auditioning for the X Factor, only singing in her school, pubs and local talent shows. She had previously uploaded a number of videos of her singing to her official channel on YouTube on a regular basis, reaching millions of views worldwide. 2011, The X Factor. In 2011, Devlin auditioned for the 8th series of The X Factor. Her audition was screened on August 20, 2011, where she performed Elton John's Your Song. Her audition was successful as all 4 judges, Louis Walsh, Tulisa Contestavlos, Kelly Rowland and Gary Barlow, put her through to the next round. She performed Coldplay's Fix You in week 1 of the live shows and was put through to the next round by mentor Kelly Rowland, as there was no public vote in the first week. Devlin topped the public vote more than any other act as she received most public votes for the first 4 weeks of voting and reached week 8 before landing in the bottom 2 with Misha B, during which she appeared to forget the words to the Hanson song Bop. Despite polling more public votes than Misha B, she was voted off by judges Contestavlos and Walsh, with Rowland refusing to vote. Devlin's final song in the sing-off was Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars. During the live shows, Courtney Love tweeted Simon Cowell to offer to give Devlin one of Nirvana's tracks for the show. This, however, did not transpire. The X Factor performances a Euro received the most public votes, a Euro denotes having been in the bottom 2. Soon after being eliminated from the X Factor, Devlin performed some gigs at various venues throughout the UK. One of these being the renowned GAY venue on Saturday, 3 December 2011. By finishing 5th, she was one of 9 acts to perform on the X Factor Live Tour 2012, which took place in cities throughout the UK and Ireland. She performed fan-favourite cover songs, Fix You and Sweet Child O' Mine. 2012 a Euro 13, Hide and Seek. It was reported that Devlin had received at least 3 offers of a recording contract. Within hours of leaving the show, Devlin had been offered a recording contract by RKA Records, a record company partly owned by Dragon's Den star and entrepreneur Duncan Bannatyne. Following the X Factor Live Tour, Janet began work on her debut album at Steelworks Recording Studios, Sheffield. She was first in the recording studio on May 28, 2012. Where she wrote and recorded 3 songs with Grammy Award and Ivor Novello Award-winning producer Elliot Kennedy and his team. The song Crown of Thorns, which was one of the first she wrote, with Jim Wadena and Philippa Hanna, quickly became an addition to her live sets at gigs. Janet has written all of her songs, usually with one co-writer, for inclusion on her debut album. She has written with accomplished songwriters Joe Janiak, Helen Boulding and Ethan Ash. She has also written potential tracks for her debut release with internationally acclaimed songwriters including the Faulkner brothers, Toby and Newton Faulkner, Joshua Radin and Jack Savoretti. Janet has stated in interviews that she has written around 25 songs so far and will continue to write more songs to have the best possible finished album. On October 26, 2012, she debuted 2 brand new, live edition, songs on her YouTube channel. They Were Wonderful, which was co-written with Newton Faulkner, and the aforementioned Crown of Thorns, which are taken from her upcoming debut album. This debut album was launched on PledgeMusic, where it is available to pre-order along with several other exclusives including a chance to record backing vocals with her. In December 2012 it was stated that the album would be released in 2013, having reached 45% of the pledge target within the first 2 weeks. Having reached 100% on New Year's Eve 2012, Janet began the recording of her album in early 2013. On June 26, 2013, Janet finished recording the limited release version of her debut album. Hide and Seek was released to pledges on July 1, 2013. Janet released an exclusive bonus acoustic EP, Nothing Lost, to pledges on August 14, 2013. The photo shoot for the album was with photographer Rosie Hardy. She has previously photographed and modeled for the cover art of Maroon 5's third studio album Hands All Over. On June 25, 2013, Janet worked with Newton Faulkner again. This time she was providing vocals for his new album project, Studio Zoo. She provided backing vocals for 2 tracks as well as lending her voice for more of a featured backing vocal on a track called Plastic Hearts. A live version of her song Things We Lost in the Fire was premiered on her YouTube channel on December 6, 2013. 2014 A Euro Present, Running with Scissors. In early January 2014, Janet debuted a new live version of her song Delicate, performing with Tom Deeb, in a Balcony TV session. She won the Balcony TV Global Music Rumble 2 weeks in a row on the 2nd and 9th March and again on the 23rd March. Devlin announced in March 2014 that the general release of her debut album, with the new title Running with Scissors, will be on June 9. The album will feature new single House of Cards with 3 other new original songs, a cover of The Cure's Friday I'm in Love and reworked versions of Delicate, Wonderful, Creatures of the Night, Things We Lost in the Fire and Hide and Seek from the limited release album Hide and Seek. The reworked version of the song Hide and Seek will feature Newton Faulkner whom, along with his brother, co-wrote it with Janet. Artistry. Influences. Devlin is heavily influenced by alternative artists such as City and Colour, John Frusciante, Nirvana and Devendra Banhart. She also notes the Red Hot Chili Peppers as a favourite band. Performances. On May 11, 2012, Devlin received an honorary award at a civil reception in Armagh, County Tyrone for her achievements on the X Factor Series 8. Janet performed at Croke Park, in front of a capacity 82,300 crowd, as part of the half-time show for the All-Ireland Gaelic Football Final on September 23. She performed a cover of Fix You and one of her self-penned original songs Walk Away. She performed at the X Factor NSPCC Childline Ball on October 18, again singing her original song Walk Away and Fix You by Coldplay, helping to raise over £500,000 for the charity. On November 3, 2012 she performed at Casement Park, as part of the pre-match entertainment, for the Michaela Foundation's charity Gaelic football match in memory of Michaela McAreevey. Janet performed for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama on April 18, 2013 as part of Irish charity, Children in Crossfire's Culture of Compassion event in Derry. On May 12, 2013 Janet performed a pledge-only concert at Greystones, Sheffield with a backing band consisting of Rue Walker, Jim Gerwardina, Doug Harper, Laura Kidd and Michael Giverin. The second pledge-only concert took place at London's Troubadour on May 13, 2013. Janet played 14 dates across the UK and Ireland, with her band, for her Imaginarium tour in September and October 2013. Janet's second tour was in December 2014 and named the My Delirium Tour. It had dates across the UK including 2 dates in Northern Ireland. The final stop of the tour was in Janet's hometown of Amman. Janet played 4 gigs in the USA supporting If and Drive on their Happy Mistakes Unplugged tour in early July 2015. Janet placed second in the 2015 Baltic Song Contest representing Ireland. The contest took place in Karlshamn, Sweden in July 2015. Discography. Studio albums extended plays singles as featured artist music videos notes, illustrated, animated and directed. Tours, the X Factor Live Tour, the Imaginarium Tour, My Delirium Tour, Happy Mistakes, Unplugged Tour. References. External links, official website.